Hello everyone. So today's topic is Indian cinema and Hollywood from an HR's perspective. So when I talk about Indian cinema, for me it's an emotion, and I think for majority of Indians who grew up watching Indian movies, I think it's an emotion more than just an industry or a form of entertainment. I call it an emotion because when we were growing up, we used to watch a lot of movies. Uh, in those days, we didn't have the concept of Cineplex or IMAX, so we had to go to the theaters, which were few compared to today. So we as a family, we rarely went to the theaters for movie watching. We mostly had to what do I say, watch it on TV. So that was the thing. And when I call it an emotion, because of course the movies, the songs, the and every other week we had movies coming out, and a good amount of what do I say, advertisements being put out there with whatever limited what do I call those days the promotions were not like what we have currently. So yeah, the whatever limited promotions which were available or done through the newspapers, or the paper cutouts that used to be flyers, the paper flyers that used to be thrown out from the cars, who used to use loudspeakers to publish the release of movies. Okay, this is the era that I'm talking about. Okay, long ago, when the movie marketing was a completely different scenario. So yeah, coming back to, yeah, so for Indians, and I believe for majority of Indians, Indian movies are more than a form of entertainment, and it's an emotion. Like, we connected with it emotionally somehow or the other. So yeah, so for me it was an emotion, and people around me, it is still an emotion. So that is why this topic is very what do I say, it's something very interesting to me, because I'm trying to connect a professional concept to a concept of emotion. So okay, so let me start with how it's going to proceed. And yeah, so what happens was, like, the movie industry is going through a lot of changes, especially after 2020. Not only the movie industry, every industry is going through a drastic change after 2020, and it's the same applicable to the movie industry as well. And the Indian movie industry, the people had been what do I say, watching a lot of international series and movies through various OTT platforms, and so the acceptance, or the views, and the emotions of the Indian audience have changed vastly in the last 5 years. So the industry is trying to cater to a changed audience and changed perspective of people. So I that is one of the reasons why I actually wanted to do this topic, because every industry is going through challenges, and the movie industry, to which we connected so much emotionally, is going through a drastic changes. And I wanted to put in some thoughts over it from an HR's perspective. So yeah, as I mentioned, we used to watch movies on TVs mostly. Very rarely we went to the theaters, and we used to get VCRs. And even in those days, we used to watch international movies. All the VCRs of the international, basically all the hit movies, we used to sources from the shops nearby. And most of us, I still remember, we used to get and share it with our neighbors. Neighbors used to get a new movie, and they used to send the cassettes over to our place. So we used to watch it in that manner. And after marriage, my husband also shared similar interests, and so he and me, we both went out to watch all the movies, all the English movies, Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, all these movies which were released. Me and my husband actually went to the theaters and watched the movies. So we have invested a lot of time in watching movies, and it has been a part of our life throughout. So this topic is pretty close to my heart, I must say. So when I talk about Indian movies, so this video, I'm going to divide it into three parts. First part, what I connect the most about Indian movies. Secondly, a brief about Hollywood, what I know about Hollywood. And thirdly, what is the analysis from an HR's perspective on the current changes going on in the Indian movie industry. So what I connect the most with the Indian movie industry, I would call, what I connect the most means what I enjoy the most about when I watch a nice Indian movie. When I used to watch a nice Indian movie, I would like to divide it into three parts. The first thing, authenticity. When I say authenticity, I don't mean to say that I need to have a story which is true to the core. No, I mean a genuinity in the creation of that movie. You know, it's pure, a pure creation with a genuine interest to produce or create a genuine art form. It's not a blind copy. Yeah. When in layman's word, I would say it's not a blind copy of something which is happening in somewhere, or a hit that has been created in a different industry and that is being blindly copied into our industry. So whichever, wherever or whenever I connected to a nice Indian movie, it was obviously due to some kind of authenticity. It was not a blind copy, you know, there was some kind of effort put in to create that beautiful art form that people could connect to. So when we say talk about connectivity, the second point is related to connectivity, the heroism. Whenever we call about Indian movies, the heroism, the hero stands, we always mention the hero as larger than life creativity, larger than life songs, larger than life, the dance sequences where a lot of people are in the background dancing along with the hero or the heroine. So yeah, there's a concept of larger than life. So the heroism, or what do we call, I think more art formy word, there's some word, I have heard it a lot, something like relatable archetype, or relatable archetype is something they call it for the Indian heroic the format that is implemented in Indian movies. So yeah, relatable archetype, because we are able to relate to the hero, like when the heroes in Indian movies are successful, we feel successful. Like I genuinely feel it's the hero is representing me, the person is on the screen is representing me. When he is victorious, I feel victorious. Okay, I'm not trying to bring in any gender discrimination as to heroine or hero. Okay, I'm just as a pure audience, as a pure layman with zero knowledge about movies. So yeah, when the hero wins, it's my victory. When the hero loses, it's my loss. When the hero cries, it's my tears. So we Indians generally, like we say, mass, the movie is mass, because we can relate to the hero. We see the hero as a representation or an extension of ourselves. So there is always that hero worship, or whatever you can call it in business terms or professional terms. Yeah, but yeah, that is second part which I enjoy about the Indian movies, is that the heroism, which again we can relate to. Whereas when I watch a movie from a different industry, I watch it as a incident happening in a different part of the world. I do not relate to the main character or the what do you call that? Okay, I forgot that word. To the main character as ourselves, or a representation of myself. I do not see it as that. Protagonist? Okay, I'm not able to get the word. Anyway, the main character, I don't see the person as myself. I see the person as a person who is the situation happening in a different part of the world. So that relatability or connectivity is not there as compared to an Indian movie. Okay, so this is the second point, why Indian movie is an emotion for me compared to other movies. And the third point, of course, is the movies and the dances. Like whenever I still hear a movie song from an old movie song, I could relate to the situation that happened years ago. So we have so much of connection with the songs and the movies and the dances that happened throughout the years. It becomes an emotional connection. Like we have songs for every occasion, whether it's be a wedding, whether it's a birthday, whether it's Onam, Vishu, Diwali. We have songs for every situation, every celebration, every occasion, and we use them. We have used it in our households as part of our parties. We dance to it, we enjoy, we sing along, we do karaoke nights, whatever. So the songs and dances are an important and quintessential part of Indian movies that we still connect to emotionally. So yeah, these are the 3 points that comes to my mind whenever I'm talking about the Indian movies or the Indian cinema industry. Now coming to Hollywood, as far as what I understand, is $100 billion, over $100 billion industry, and that industry was not built in a day. It took years and years of work from a lot of people to create that kind of business. And every industry is aspiring. It is even our Indian industry. We want to see it so successful that it can compete with the industry like that of Hollywood, or it emerges itself into be a bigger industry that can hold $100 billion business worldwide. Why not? Every industry need to grow and generate as much business as possible in its business span. So definitely, why not? So the difference here is whenever Hollywood is creating the product or the services that they're putting out there, their budgets are high, their markets are high, their strategies are very, very different. So, and which we all look up to and thrive to be there one day. So but our Indian industry has still not reached. What I understand from a little bit of research, what I did is that our industry, in terms of the capital, is much lesser compared to $100 billion worth of industry. Though our number of releases are much higher, the market or the capital involved is much lesser compared to Hollywood. So that point is very significant here. Now I'm coming to the HR's perspective of creating a product or a service. Whenever a company is trying to establish its service or a product, it must come out with a genuine, authentic product or a service which is unique to its own situation and circumstances, rather than simply or blindly copying a different industry or a company or an organization. Only then the chances of the industry or the organization's survival is much more higher. Like for example, there is a big multinational giant which is very successful in creating, developing, designing, research and development. They did a lot of research and development, and they created a product, and they put in their marketing strategies and put out the product or the services out in the market, and which is hugely successful. Now a small company is trying to completely imitate the success of the larger giant blindly. So from an HR's perspective, that is a very weak strategy for the organization, to simply blindly copy a larger successful organization without doing this smaller organizations' market scenarios, circumstances, capital, strength, culture. Like whenever we are going to implement an HR policy, we never blindly implement an HR policy for every organization. It's very essential for every HR professional to understand the organization's culture and then format a HR policy with the vision and mission of that organization in mind. So if an HR officer or an HR professional or an HR team is trying to blindly copy another successful organization's HR policy, then it is believed to be a step towards disaster more than a step towards success. So always customize your policies, always customize your product, always customize your services, marketing strategies, and business capital, everything as per your own circumstances, as per your own requirements, as per your own culture of your own organization, keeping your own vision and mission in mind. So this is what I want to put into the Indian cinema industry as well. Let us thrive. We all want to see the industry thrive and succeed, but with our own marketing strategies, with our own analysis of our very grounded culture, a product or a service which is useful to our culture in the right manner, which can be placed, the product placement is in the right direction rather than in a conflicting manner for the society or the community. I hope I'm making the point clear. I don't know till what extent it is impactful or useful. And I believe this is a point which is useful universally. Like you are putting in any strategy, try not to blindly copy another organization's success or another person's success or another bigger industry success. We need to customize everything as per our own needs, requirements. And if we are looking for a long term, we need to implement it in such a manner considering the culture of the organization and the place where the organization is situated. So that's it for now. Thank you everybody for your time here. Bye-bye.